Hello, this is Rebecca with Create with Rebecca, and today I want to put together a video to show you a project that I have loved to do for several years now. It's called Learn Something New Every Day. It's by Shimelle. She is well known in the scrapbooking world, and she also does a Journal Your Christmas. But I started doing Learn Something New Every Day, I think in 2011. And it's just been one of my favorite projects. It starts September 1st, and it basically, she sends you prompts every day in the month of September, something to ponder, something to think about, and then you could journal about it. Now, when I first did the project in 2011, it was one of the biggest life-changing events that I've ever been through. And here in her story too, she also says that she always has interesting things happen to her in September as well. But in September 2011, this was when one of the biggest wildfires in Texas happened, and our house was involved in all of that. I mean, it was very scary. We were one of the fortunate ones. I know I've talked about it before, that our house survived. So I feel like, we didn't go through the tragedy of losing everything that we owned, but we sure did see our neighbors go through that, and many people's lives were affected. So during that time, we were living in hotels and not knowing what's going on. I was at my mother's. We couldn't get home. You couldn't get into where the fire had happened. So it was just a total and complete chaos time. And during that whole time, I was just writing down little things and documenting them. So this was one of the scrapbooks that I did. I didn't really follow her prompts, but this is stuff that I learned every day from, from the time that, with all the fire that happened. So basically it started in September, and then I ate too much chocolate that day, so that made me feel horrible. And then my sweet little nephew Gabriel was born. And then the next day was when the fire happened, and it basically says, today I learned in a blink of an eye, life can be turned upside down and out of your control. All you have to do is have faith. And so, it really, because the wind started blowing, and we had been in such a huge drought. It had been so hot that summer. I mean, it was just 111 degrees. It was just such a miserable summer. But I wanted to show you real quick. This is the fire itself. You can see the firemen down there, and then our house is right about in there. So that was what we were dealing with. And then the next day, we weren't allowed in there, but we had some friends that were able to get in. But basically, you can just see the fire just burned up our whole entire yard, except it just stopped at the slab. I mean, it was just like our AC unit, everything was burned up. You can see the trees got, singed from the heat, but basically, we were fortunate our house did not burn. And so, there's my husband. He got in there and started putting out little hot spots throughout the day and trying to save, people's houses that were left. But, it was such now that I look back at it, it was such a good way to keep our memories during that horrific event in our county. And so, it was just there's all the trees that we lived in, kind of like a forest, so it's just very devastating to see what you couldn't even see through, because you could see all the beautiful pine trees and they were just burned. But it was, like I said, this has been one of my favorite projects, and I just started it just happened to start the year that this kind of happened. And we went so long without having light in our home, and so finally we got electricity put back in. And there's all of us back at our home, being able to get back in. And then things are starting to get back to normal, back in a routine. There's my sweet sister and her little baby, Gabriel. Oh, the other thing was the hummingbirds start migrating this time of the year, like in September. And so, we're talking 30 hummingbirds swarming, so we could not keep them fed enough because they were just starting to migrate and there was nothing for them to go. There's another, my daughter went through a lot. I was reading this, it says she's so sensitive. We had to go back to the hotel because they had to come in and like do this oxidation in the house where they got rid of all the fire and wiped down everything and replaced stuff in the attic, like the, oh, what do you call it, where insulation. So, life goes back to normal. Anyway, this is one of my favorite books, favorite time of the year to be able to do this and document it. But that was 2011. As you can see, I really had fun decorating it. It was so, I love making these little journals slash scrapbooks. So, and this is just 2012, and things are a lot better, you know, of course, so I'm not dealing with all that. But again, you know, she sends you prompts every day, and then I love just kind of adding tags, photos, little clips here and there, little things that are going, you know, 10 things I learned about different things. My son playing football. Of course, our 9/11 here in the States, which is, we'll never forget, is when the planes were driven into the World Trade Center. But, you know, the leaves start changing. We start recognizing that I always have my pumpkin spice latte. So yeah, this is just my kitchen, having it cleaned. Did little things from books, you know, like pulling different inserts from books. And I kind of like to, you know, just do little, kind of like learning. Since it is September 1st, it's all about school and you're learning. So I always kind of do it relate to, kind of relate it to school. You know, little bitty pockets here and there where you can kind of, I think Brazos was created that little cute thumbprint tree. But yeah, I just kind of, this is fun. See, it gets me excited, like, looking at all this, because I love to get really creative with it and add different elements and, you know, there we go, and it's 2012, and I'll just flip through real quick. This is another one that I did, and this was a book. Let's see if we can figure out who is this by. Oh, Little Yellow Bicycle. This was a spiral that they had. It was just a cute little, you know, a ruled spiral, and so I just used it as this year's. I really liked it because you could kind of break it up, and just let me get that stamp back out. I like that tree stamp. But just different things in here that I did. Lots of journaling. Lots of little tags here and there. I like that. And that's that. So today I wanted to show you, I know we're into September already, but I wanted to put together one and show you kind of, I'm going to make a little junk journal out of a traveling notebook. Kind of do the same kind of thing there that I did in those other scrapbooks, but I'm going to use my traveler's notebook so I can put it into my planner, my Webster Pages Traveler Notebook Planner. So what I did was I already cut the outside for a standard size, and I also included, these are 10 sheets of, I believe it's either 26-pound paper, so they're really an extra bright, so they're really thick. So if I wanted to do like some watercoloring, or as you can see, these get really, really thick. So I did that, so I went ahead and pre-cut that. I thought I would use this little girl. I have a lot of old patterns, dress patterns, and a lot of times I want to reuse the image, so I'll just make copies. And so I cut her out. I made a copy of her and cut her out. And then I just kind of pulled different bits and bobs of papers. Here's for my cover sheet for my wording. Some more little apple stickers. Oops, I got bent there. some little snap stickers by Simple Stories. This is another little tidbit that I had that is from Little Yellow Bicycle. But as you can see, I just kind of pulled some of my extra little papers that I had kind of around just to add different sections in here. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is just add the tidbits to the inside of it. So since I already have the paper, I think the next thing I'm going to do is kind of do a just kind of fold like I did this in a in last month's, in my summer one that I did. I kind of added it, and I'm going to put like September on there, so I can just kind of do that. And if it gets too thick, I can take out some of this white paper. But I'm just going to create like a little junk folder. I'm just going to add some little, some little cards. These are some little cards from Doodlebug Design. Let's see here. This is something, I don't know what brand it is, but I picked this up a long time ago at a scrapbooking store. And I wanted to see if there was a way that I could kind of staple it in here, but I don't really know. It's kind of bulky, and I don't know if I could tape it in somewhere maybe, because I thought it would be kind of cute to add maybe some, little receipts or something like that. So I actually might just tape that at the bottom, but I thought that was kind of school resembles. And see, as you can tell, it's starting to get really thick already. And that's just adding this in. So we may not add that in. Let's just kind of go along here. This is some more funky paper. This is actually an envelope that I have. So I might, if I do this, I might come in here and I'll have to end up trimming that off, but I wonder if there'd be a way that I could fold this over and get it stapled in without really seeing it on the other side and creating too much bulk, and that would create a pocket as well. So let's see how we could do that. And again, I'll come in here and trim all that out, but that would create a semi-pocket. What I might have to do is come in here and trim it out a little bit. Okay, let's try that. Because then what I can do is, where this overlaps, I can add. It already is tearing. This paper must be really sensitive paper. Okay. As you can see, I'm kind of picking some earth tones. Let's add some different, I have some scrapbook paper over here that I have some left over. Like this. That in there. And then I did like this, adding some line paper because it just reminds me of school. The thing is though, I was contemplating, having it turned up one way or another, but it would be difficult for me to add it in because of the fold, because I don't have a long piece of paper. So I was just thinking about adding adding a piece of paper in this way. Still getting that effect of the lined paper, but having it less. We're going to talk about that folder here in a minute. We're just going to move on and get this all set up here so we have all that in place. See, is there anything else I want to add over there? I also had this little envelope that I thought I could use in here. It's not more the earth tones, but It is, it's got an envelope going on here. I'm going to add a full sheet of paper. Isn't this beautiful, this leaf paper? I've had it for quite a while. And so I'm going to add it in there. I'm just eyeballing it here to cut it. To just kind of, you could measure it out. I could use my other cutter, but I got this new cutter the other day because we're going to be doing an all-day crop at one of the planner meetups that planner retreat that we're having in October. So I wanted to have a paper cutter that I could use while I sit there and plan away and create. This works pretty good. Okay. I love that. I love those leaves. That's so pretty. I'm going to add another piece of scrapbook paper. This is a Echo Park paper. Look how beautiful that is. And I'm going to add that in there as well. Just kind of eyeballing it. I didn't cut through all the way there. There we go. Okay, so after this, I think I'm good with the paper, adding the different papers. Let's see, does that need to be trimmed a little bit? Yes. I know this is going to really add some bulk to this. But just stick that in there. You know, it's a kind of a junk journal, so I'm okay with that. Let's see here. We're going to take out just a few of these little white pieces of paper, since we have adding some of the other ones that we can add some writing to and those kind of things. So okay, so we added different papers in here. Like I said, see, it kind of sticks out a little bit. You know, it's going to drive me crazy. Let's see which papers those are. Oh, it's the inside. What is this one? Oh, it's this. You know, I could come in and trim off the excess, as long as it's not really like a lot of the white papers and stuff. Okay. So, yeah, it's that notebook paper. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I like having the envelope being added to the outside of it where you can tuck in. I wonder if I could come in here with some washi tape and seal it in. Let's just try that instead of trying to get it in with a stapler. Okay, let me get my stapler out. I bought this off Amazon, and again, I've used this on here before, but it just really, it works perfectly for creating these little notebooks because it has this little fold in there. And what I did was I add washi to it so I know exactly where to staple it on each side. And this is a thick one, so I might do actually do one in the middle. And of course my stapler is acting up. It was acting up earlier in the week. I might need to do a little adjustment on it. So got your book already. I'm going to clip this together here so I can kind of have it sealed while I work on it. Okay, so let me get another one here. Okay, so real quickly now, I'm going to decorate the cover up. So I got my little junk journal ready. I'm going to add some little tidbits here and there in just a moment. But let's go ahead and get moving on the cover. So I would really, like I said, I kind of like the school theme. But I also like this card from Doodlebug Designs. I love the orange. And I love the scallop edging. So I might actually double up and layer that like that. Might do that. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So I'm just going to trim this off. And I'm going to trim the edges a little bit on these sides here. Just a tad bit, to just so I don't have that too wide. Oops. Let's see here. There needs to be a little bit more. Like that. And then that looks cute already. I love the different colors. It just really looks fall. Then I'm going to add her. And that satchel, I've been debating whether I want to get rid of it or not. I know it's like school related and stuff, but I really am. I'm thinking now that now that I don't really have a lot of room, I'm going to just cut that off of her. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to add the glue. I use my heavy duty Extreme Elmer's glue. Put that on there. Not straight. Try it again. Try to line it up where the glue spot was so it's not a sticky mess. And if it does get sticky, it dries. Oh, look, it's got a cute little school bus on the back side. So, again, I'm getting right there on the edges so that it really, really sticks. Oops. I'm going to kind of offset this a little. Like that. Now, when I glue her, I'm going to do it on this, with this background. Let's get some of these papers out of the way, shall we? Oops, sorry. Okay. I'm just going to use this paper so that way I can get her all the way to the edges, because I do not want her peeling up. And since she's real thin because she's on just regular printer paper, I just want to make sure I got her all covered. She looks so cute. Okay. I got these stickers. These are monthly stickers from Hobby Lobby. They're their brand, their Paper Studio, and so I just got this for September. It's kind of a different element because everything else is kind of a, what do you call it, it's a dull, and then I come in here with this bright yellow, so I'm going to try to like maybe mute it out a little bit with, maybe I'll do it along the bottom here. That would work. Maybe up here. Let's try this. I'm just going to stick it down. It's a done deal. Now going back now. There we go. Let's go ahead and add it. Sometimes you just gotta go with it. You know, I'm the type that, does it look good? Does it look good? And sometimes you can just work with it, and then you could add little bits and bobs around it to really make it work. So I'm going to put that on there like that. And I want to add the date. And I had some stickers around here. Of course my one is gone on that one. It's almost too red. We could do this because of that color right there. It kind of blends it in. And then we could also add some, I was going to add this on there as well. Let's just cut this and see if we can. Maybe bring it over. I'm going to have to cut that off like that. Just to kind of tie in the blue, because I'm going to be using this turquoisey numbering. I love gingham. So we're going to go ahead and add, you know what? Let's see how this is going to look against that. If not, oh yeah, that looks good. I was going to say, if not, we'll just add another piece behind it. Layer it up. And then you could do with what you needed to do. Add the date. Oops, kind of squished it too close together there. The thing with working with lines too, you can kind of use it as a background, which this isn't going to be even, but I'm okay with that. We can just play off of it and make it like it was meant to happen. Okay, so I thought about adding this down here, but I think that's too much. Here's a little star I had, and that could play into the yellow up here to really add to it. Let's see what else we got. I want to put on the outside, you know, learn something new every day somewhere, so I know that you know, that's what this is. I wonder if I could fit it into that sun. Okay, well, we're going to write it on here. Let's get a marker. Where's my little pencil pouch here? We're going to use this Stedler, and we're going to write it in. And you could do lettering here. Learn something new. Paper sticking to me every day. It's always a good thing to learn something new every day. And I could actually come back in here and darken up, you know, make it more of a calligraphy. I guess it's really too up and down. It's not cursive, but just kind of emphasize it where it goes down a little bit. Okay. Sometimes I'm kind of feeling rushed here because I don't want to just bore you with me filling in the letters here. But Don't want it to be too messy either, right? I might have to go back in here and kind of make this a little bit more neater. Because it looks kind of jaggedy. Of course, I guess it could be what I look. Not really the look I'm going for. Okay. It's okay. Then I'm going to come in here and add, I saw some little flowers. I'm going to do a little flower to kind of play into that yellow. Again, I'm just kind of wanting it to blend it in here. Let's see, what about this flower? Here we go. What do you think? You know, I could come in here and add, I guess the star too, but I really think that that flower comes in and kind of makes it cute. And I could always come in here and do like some washi, some yellow washi or something. I think I've got so organized with my washi. It's, but I could come in here and do some Bordeaux with that. You know, usually I was going to do like a September long here, but I think I'm going to add this little tag that says, I love school. I'm so fortunate my daughter does love school. My son, not so much. I think he does. He's gotten better, but he's always loved the social part of school. Of course, he's done really good. He's a senior this year, so that's exciting. And you know what I pulled these tags out. These are from Miss Smart Crafty Pants, Smarty Fancy Pants, and I think adding these in here, you know, as I go along would be really cute. And you could use like this Tim Holtz stapler. Because like I might just kind of write a little tidbit in there. But, you know, I just really wanted to kind of show, you know, you could add so many different little things. Like this could be part of, you know, this. We could add a ribbon onto it. And then, you know, that's just doing layers and layers of fun little, I'm digging around in my messy ribbon over here. It's messy if you look at it, it's messy, but I think it's quite organized. Not really. But, you know, you could just add little, tidbits as you go along here. I'm going to just kind of tuck these in there. And you know, I talked about putting an envelope in the back, you know, to add my different, you know, ephemera in there. I know pink isn't really a thing, but I could definitely add different, you know, just kind of put this in here like, oh, I'm going to use that as a tag. Because I really think that one piece that I had looked at, that one little boxy piece, this thing, it's too thick. I think it would just be, take it, well, over the edge, so it kind of sticks out a little bit. Not that that's that big of a deal, but, and then this one, it too is pretty thick. But I could cut it down and use it. Kind of matches a little better. You know what, let me find something real quick. Let me look for something. I think I had this envelope. I could use this too. But again, it'd have to be cut down. And the thing that I liked about this envelope, it doesn't have the sticky seal on it, so in case moisture does get into it, you know, I could come in here and add, you know, there we go, perfect. I could just add this to it, pink. And you know, pink is my signature color, I love pink. But in this scenario, it's not really, you know what, this kind of plays off of pink. Let's do that. And this kind of, you know, you could not have to be coordinated. I mean, you could have whatever color you wanted in there. So let's go ahead and add, because even that would look pretty, but I love this fall colors on the back. So let's come into that and, whoops, glue the outside. That way it really seals it in good. There we go. And then I'm going to add the glue to the back. What I like about using different kind of scrap paper is you can just fold it over and use the other side. What I'm going to do is put glue right along here. My space is getting limited, but that's part of getting crafty, is your space gets messy. It's fun. I'll just stick that in there. Oh no, did you see my problem? It's upside down. Ah, okay, I'm gonna go with it. I can't go back. It's glued. But I can. What can I do? I can add some washi. That's life, right? You don't pay attention and you glue stuff upside down. I'm going to come in here and add a little, I haven't done a reveal of my September kit yet, but it does have it has some cute stuff in there. So let me get up that packet real quick. Can't believe it. Okay, let me go get that packet real quick. Okay, this is my part of my September kit, is this cute Echo Park ephedra. So we're going to play off of that. We're going to cover up some of that crazy mess that I did right there. See, you can't even tell. Falls in the air. You add a little bit of paper. You cover up your mistake. Does anybody really care but you? Yeah, it's your journal. I mean, if you can live with it, that's all that matters. There we go. Ta-da! Can you tell it's upside down? Only that I had told you. Let's add some stickers. I'm going to add these little, glued upside down. But, you know, just as kind of little tidbits here. I almost used them all up of these back to school. There we go. Ta-da! There we go. No problem. I'll come in here and I'm going to add like a thin piece of washi or something in here, but I'll do that as I go along. I don't have to decorate it all right here and now, but there we have it. It's all ready to go. Oh, that's so cute. I really like the way it turned out. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.